what your SHS teacher may not have time to teach you, trust me, CMG-MathSpace has all the time. If you are new on this channel, this is CMG-MathSpace, where we teach core math and elective math for SHS students. We are recently or currently treating chapter 3 of the AKI-OLA textbook. So we are on algebraic expressions at the moment, treating the subtopic factorization of algebraic expressions. Trust me, this has been one of the difficult topics, right, for starters when it comes to math for SHS students. For that time, or for this reason, we have taken upon ourselves to treat this without any rush. Our main focus is for you to get the concept, and then we show you the practical aspect of them. Now, we've done with how to form algebraic expressions, done with binomial expressions. The next one, which is this one, is factorization. Now, without further ado, let's box in. Now, when each of the terms of an expression is divided by a common factor, the expression may be simplified by dividing each term separately by this factor and enclosing the coefficients within brackets. The common factor being placed outside the brackets as the coefficient. This process, right, of putting an expression in brackets is called factorization. I know this may sound wordy, too much of a grammar. Don't worry, I got you. I'm going to explain with simple illustrations, right? Now, for example, the expression 4a plus 4b has a highest common factor of 4. The highest common factor of 4. Now, therefore, 4a plus 4b is equal to 4 into brackets a plus b. So this is what they are talking about. This may still sound clumsy and difficult to what? Very opaque to your mind. No problem. I'll do that. Now, also for expression 6x squared minus 10x, the highest common factor is 2x. You may still be wondering. Now, therefore, 6x squared minus 10x is equal to 2x into bracket 3x minus 5. Now, we have two ways or two methods of dealing with factorization when it comes to, yes, we have the first one that has to do with common factors, and then the other one has to do with the method of what? Grouping. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you how to do that when dealing with common factors. Then this next one will be with the method of grouping. So stay tuned. Now, with a common factor, we are saying that the general method used to factorize terms with common factors is to find the factor common to all the terms in the expression and bring it outside the brackets. Now, say here, the first example is factorize the following expressions, right? So normally, when you hear sometimes simplify, factorizing, and these terms, key terms, when we are being faced or we see this in the exams, we don't really know what they mean. Simplify means do whatever evaluation you have been asked to do until you can't go further with that. So you can start with any method, any subtopic, whatever you have been asked, right? Now, when it comes to factorization, that's when we talk about putting brackets, numbers, coefficient, or efficient, quotient, outside, inside. This is the main thing, right? Until we can continue to do anything further. So that is it. Now, let me show you. Now, the first example is 3ax plus 6ay. You understand? Now, you'll be asked, the first year, this is the step. Now, I've read a lot of English. Now, let me simplify things for you. Or, first of all, let's do this as the book is telling us and see if you can still understand. Then I'll bring in the simplest method, the simplest way to grasp this. So we are saying that 3ax plus 6ay is equal to 3a into bracket x plus 2y. You may be wondering, how did they arrive at this? So stay tuned. Now, I have rewritten the whole question again. We have 3a, right? 3ax plus 6ay. Now, we have read blah, 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 blah from that, and it's still, we don't have any headway around that. So let me calm down by they referring to common factor, the highest common factor outside the brackets, and blah blah blah. Now, so we have this question, right? Now the common factor, what they are talking about is when you are given something of this sort, 3ax plus 6ay, we are first looking at, you first tackle the constants, looking for the common factor, the highest common factor that they are talking about, right? That common factor of the constant. Now we know that the constants is these three, the figures, the actual figures, 3 and then 6. And then we have the variables, which are the letters, any alphabet, any letter of the alphabet that we know. So we have A, we have X. These are the variables. We have E, we have Y. So dealing with the constants, looking for the common factor, it means that bring this 3 down, right? This is a rough work I'm teaching, so you don't have to do this when you are solving math or writing this in your exam books or exercise book, unless it's a jotter. So for 3, look for the factors of these particular constants. These factors we have 3 and 1. So for factors, we may still be wondering, what are factors? We have treated this already. I'll just take a glimpse. So a factors of a number means the numbers, the two numbers that when you multiply, will give you that number. The numbers, the separate numbers, that when you multiply, will give you this number. So these are the what? The factors. These are the factor, this is the factor, and this is the multiple. So we are looking at the common factor. So for these 3, the factors are 3 and 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. We have that. Put it aside. Now move to 6. What are the factors of 6? You even have 1 and 6, which is not very, that is not what we are looking for. Then when it comes down, we have 2 and 3. Now 2 and 3 is what? These are the factors of 6, right? So this is it. Now the reason why we discarded 1 and 6 is that 6 is not what we are looking for, because 6 itself is not a factor of 3. So when you say common factor means that a factor or a number that appears under this particular multiple and then also appear under this particular multiple. So if I should choose 6, 1 by 6 or 6 times 1, we won't have that because 6 will not appear here, right? So we say, hence we say highest common factor, common to them, meaning it appears here and it appears here. 6 may not appear here, it will not appear here, but it is appearing here, right? So that is why we discarded 1 and 6. Now we'll move on to 3 and 6. The common will be 3 here and 3 here. Now, if you see the common factor, what do? You bring that one outside. So we have this bracket and bracket. So now we have this 3. So after finding 3, that's for the constant, we know the common factor is 3. 1, 3, and 3 here, 3 here. So that's why I've drawn these arrows down. Now let's move to what? The variables. The variables, we have A, we have A here. Now A appears here, A appears here. You may be wondering, how do you find the common factor of A? For variables, there's a way around it, because we can't be multiplying, finding common factor of A. But we still find it, in quotes, common factor of A. A is here, A is here. Hence, the common, if it appears here, appears there, you bring it out. So A is here. Now we are left with what? X. X is here, X is not here. If X is there, it's not there, you leave it in the bracket there. Hence, we have the X inside here, right? Now, Y also is not anywhere, but only here. So we bring it still in the bracket, right? So now that we have X and Y inside, you may see that I've written 1. This one here means that A was left, A is gone. So whenever A is gone, it leaves something like 1, an imaginary 1. The same thing applies to Y. But Y didn't leave, A didn't leave, but okay, the 3, the one is actually the 3. So the common factor, the other factor that was left behind, we bring it inside the bracket. Then here to the factor that was left was 2, so we bring it 2 here. So the multiples or the factors, whatever was left behind, we bring it in the bracket, then the common factor goes outside. So 3 appears here, 3 appears here, goes outside. Now left with 2. Where is it? The 2 under 6. So we bring it down. It left it 1. So that's why I brought this one down.